Good afternoon. So I told you that I was going to try and post a video on how to do one of the Dreambox lessons that people seem to be having difficulty with. So one of the lessons that currently seem to be challenging is the add and subtract decimals lesson. So I'm going to do a sample with you guys.
The treasure is at 6.92 units. Move the ship and find the treasure.
So if you look, it sets it up where it's 8 and 1900ths minus something gives me 6 and 9200ths. So in order to figure out what this missing number is, and by the way, when I first looked, I thought it wanted me to multiply these numbers because I saw an X. But this X doesn't mean multiply. This X stands for an unknown number. So to figure it out, I think what we need to do is take 8 and 1900ths and subtract 6 and 9200ths, and that'll give us what number we're missing. So since I know I'm going to be subtracting, I'm going to hit the minus button.
Create an equation to move the ship. Then click Done.
And it gives me a way to figure it out. So I'm going to put the 6 and 9200ths right here. And then I'll go ahead and subtract that out. I have to try to do this in my head because they tell us that in order to really improve, not to actually work the problems out on paper. But if you really are struggling, then there's no need to keep struggling in your head. Always feel free to get out a sheet of paper and do it. But before you go to the paper trying to show your work this time, for Dreambox, try to do it without pencil and paper first. So I'm going to go 9 minus 2 is 7, so that means I would need a 7 there. And then it's important to click my cursor on the other side, otherwise it's going to automatically put all the digits to the right. So I'm going to click in front of the 7. Then I'm going to say 1 minus 9. Well, I can't really do that, right? So I'd have to borrow from the 8, make that a 7. This number, I'd add 10 to it, so now it's 11. It's 11 minus 9, which would give me 2. Again, click in front of the 2 so it doesn't automatically put it afterwards. I'm going to need a decimal point because I'm in the ones place now. Then in front of the decimal because I'm again in the ones place. I also have to try to remember that we borrowed from this 8 since we couldn't say 1 minus 9, so this isn't really an 8 anymore, it's a 7. 7 minus 6 is 1. So let's see if I did that right. I did. Alright, so let's dig the treasure to find out what we got. I can. But I know why.
Create subtraction equations to find the missing value.
We have to now know that that's 1.27. So we're going to start over.
You have one reset remaining.
We know we're going to subtract. And we said it was 1 point. I forgot what it was. 27, I think is what we said. And that should give us 6.92. Let's see. That's where it's at.
How far from 8.19 was?
It was 1 and 2700ths. Okay, let's read that.
The treasure is at 0.4 units. Move the ship and find the treasure.
Okay, so we have 69 hundredths minus something will give me 4/10. So I know I'm going to subtract. Okay, and to figure that out, I can put the 4/10 here. And we can just do regular subtraction to figure out what the missing number is. So 9 hundredths minus 0 hundredths is 9. Don't forget, put the number cursor in front of the digits so it doesn't automatically put it afterwards. Then 6/10 minus 4/10 is 2/10. Okay, put my decimal number. And then, of course, 0 minus 0, right? So I wouldn't really need anything there. Now, last time I learned that when I put my work in, it kind of ended up at the wrong spot. So I really need to switch these numbers now to say 69 hundredths minus 29 hundredths will give me 4/10, which is what they wanted to know it to begin with. But don't forget, because it looks like I may have forgotten my decimal there. Okay, there we go. Let's see if it works. And let's dig. Hopefully it'll be treasure. It is! So how far was 69 hundredths from the treasure? It was 0.29 hundredths. Alright, the treasure is at 19 hundredths units. Move the ship to find the treasure. We are doing subtraction, so we're going to do a subtraction problem. Okay, again, to figure out the missing number, I need to put this number here, at least to start with. So that's 0.19, or 19 hundredths. I do my subtraction. 9 hundredths minus 9 hundredths would be 0. Click the cursor so it's in front of the 0. 3 minus 1 would be 2. Again, click in front. Put your decimal there, and then 0 and 0, of course. So I know that I need to say, then I switch it to make it fit my original problem. Okay, that's where I messed up the first time. So we take this number and put it here. So that's 0.2 decimal 2. And I can actually leave it as 2/10 because remember, when the 0 is on the end, it's the same, right? So 2/10 is the same as 20 hundredths. But then I copy from above. So 0 and 39 hundredths minus 2/10 or 20 hundredths should give me 19 hundredths. Let's see. Alright, and it should be right here. Let's see if the treasure's there. It is. And to answer the question, I just put my missing number back in there. So 0 and 2 hundredths, or excuse me, not 2 hundredths, 2/10, or you can also say 20 hundredths. Alright, so another one. The treasure is at 29 hundredths units. Move the ship. We are still doing subtraction. So I take what they gave me as the answer to start with to help figure out this missing x. So I'm going to put 29 hundredths. Solve that out. 2 minus 9, I can't say 2 minus 9. So this is where you're going to have to try to keep it in your head, right? Because I have to borrow from the tenths place, make that a 5. Since I borrowed from tenths, I'm going to add tenths to the hundredths. So that would mean this is now a 12 instead of a 2. 12 minus 9 would be a 3. put my cursor in front of the 3 so that it goes in front. Now this is no longer a 6 because I borrowed from it, so it's a 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. Put my decimal back in. There's nothing in the ones place, so I can stop there. But remember, because I'm trying to figure out what this is, I got to switch my numbers all back. Okay, so this would be the 33, and when I do that, it gives me my original problem. So let's check. And let's dig to see if the treasure's there. So to answer the original question, I just copy the answer back in 33 hundredths. And we did it. So that is how you solve or try to work through the adding and subtracting decimals problem. Okay? Let me know if you run into any more Dreambox lessons that you're having trouble with. Couldn't be better timing because it looks like I have an Amazon Prime order coming through. See you guys later.